The Galactic Council chamber fell silent when Commander Zrixtal slammed his four-fingered hand on the obsidian table. His scales rippled with indignation as he glared at the small human sitting across from him. 17,412, he hissed, his translator converting the words into a mechanical rasp. You expect us to believe a human has eliminated that many devourers? Captain Sarah Chen didn't flinch. She'd been facing down alien skepticism for 3 years now, ever since humanity had joined the wider galactic community during the darkest days of the Devourer invasion. Her fingers drummed once against the table's smooth surface before she reached into her jacket pocket. I don't expect anything, Commander, she said quietly, producing a small data drive. The device looked almost primitive compared to the holographic interfaces and neural-linked systems the other species used. But since you asked, she slid it across the table. It stopped precisely in front of Zrixtal. Start with folder 1. The Vexiri commander picked up the drive as if it might explode, his secondary eyes narrowing with suspicion. Around the circular table, representatives from 14 species watched with varying degrees of interest. The Metherian ambassador leaned forward, her crystalline body refracting the chamber's blue light. The Groth delegation, massive beings who barely fit in their reinforced chairs, exchanged glances. Zrixtal inserted the drive into his console. The chamber's central hologram flickered to life. What appeared made several delegates recoil. The footage was raw, unedited combat camera recording. A younger Sarah Chen, her face streaked with dirt and blood, moved through the wreckage of what had once been Shanghai. The Devourers, those nightmare creatures that had nearly destroyed galactic civilization, swarmed through the ruins. Their chitinous bodies gleamed black, mandibles clicking as they hunted for prey. Sarah moved like death itself. She carried a human projectile weapon, primitive by galactic standards, but brutally effective. Each shot was calculated, precise. Devourer scouts dropped one after another. But it wasn't just the shooting. When her ammunition ran out, she transitioned to bladed weapons, to explosives, to using the environment itself. She collapsed a building on a dozen Devourers. She lured a pack into a confined space and incinerated them with jury-rigged flamethrowers. The footage counter in the corner ticked upward with each confirmed kill. 50, 100, 200. This is just the first week of the Beijing defense, Sarah said, her voice steady. Folder 1 covers 3 months. There are 47 folders. Zrixtal's scales had turned a pale gray, the Vexiri equivalent of going pale. You fought like this for 3 months? Alone? Not alone, Sarah corrected. My team was with me. But yes, we fought. Every human did. We didn't have your shields, your plasma weapons, your faster-than-light capabilities. We had bullets, blades, and spite. The hologram shifted to another scene, Sarah coordinating a defense, her voice hoarse as she shouted orders to civilians turned soldiers. The Devourers came in waves, and every wave broke against humanity's desperate resistance. The kill count climbed. 1,000. 2,000. The Metherian ambassador's voice chimed like bells. Your species was not even spacefaring when the Devourers found Earth. Our fleets couldn't hold them back, yet we survived, Sarah finished. You want to know why? Because we didn't have the luxury of retreat. This was our only world, our only home. You had colonies to fall back to, evacuation protocols, backup plans. We had Earth, so we fought. The footage continued. Folder 2 showed urban warfare in the ruins of New York. Folder 3, the Australian outback where human guerrilla fighters turned the desert into a graveyard for devourers. Folder 4, the frozen hellscape of what remained of Moscow. In each recording, Sarah was there, sometimes leading charges, sometimes alone behind enemy lines, sometimes directing orbital strikes using captured alien technology that humanity barely understood. She adapted, improvised, survived. The numbers kept climbing. 10,000, 15,000. You documented everything, the Groth representative rumbled, his deep voice making the table vibrate. We documented everything because we thought we'd lose, Sarah replied. We wanted the galaxy to know we existed, that we fought, that we didn't go quietly into extinction. Zrixtal had stopped watching. His hands shook as he deactivated the hologram. The chamber remained silent for a long moment. Commander, Sarah said softly, I didn't count because I was proud. I counted because every number was a reason my people survived another day. Every devourer I killed was one that wouldn't kill a child in Seoul, a family in Cairo, an elder in Lagos. I counted because each one mattered. She stood, her chair scraping against the floor. You asked me to prove my kills because you thought I was exaggerating. Because in your experience, soldiers retire after a few dozen confirmed eliminations. You rotate off the front lines after 100. You grant them honors and therapy and time to heal. Sarah's eyes swept across the assembled delegates, and for a moment, every one of them saw the steel that had been forged in Earth's desperate stand. We didn't have that luxury. We fought for 4 years straight. No rotations, no breaks, no relief. Just survival. She picked up the thumb drive, leaving it on the table.
Keep it, study it.
Learn from it. Because the one thing humanity proved during the Devourer War is that we don't quit. We don't surrender. We fight with everything we have, and when that runs out, we make something new to fight with. Sarah walked toward the exit, her boots echoing in the silent chamber. 17,412, she said without turning back. And, Commander? That number stopped going up only because we ran out of Devourers to kill. The door sealed behind her with a soft hiss. In the chamber, 14 species sat in stunned silence, finally understanding why the Devourers, the galaxy's most feared enemy, had been broken not by advanced weaponry or superior technology, but by a species that simply refused to die. Drixtel stared at the thumb drive for a long time. Then with trembling hands he opened folder 5. He needed to understand what humanity truly was, and he suspected 42 folders wouldn't be enough.